Hello and welcome to the show. I am Ryan Carlson.
And I'm Yasmin Abdi.
Kicking off today's show, we have Mohamed Bafaki, Ben Sepak, and Andrew Telemontes breaking down this week's football highlights.
Hello and welcome. This is Andrew Telemontes with The Spirit. Today I'm with Mohamed Bafaki and Benjamin Sepak to discuss the Spartans' 41-20 loss against BYU this past Saturday. Both coming in at 1-7 teams. Fellas, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so Tanner Mangum, he had a very terrific game. 18 for 34. He did throw an interception, but 283 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. This is a team that only came in averaging 12 points per game, but they put up 41 points, which is what San Jose's been giving up to opponents all season. So coming into a hostile environment where 50,000 fans, even though it's a 1-7 team, were there supporting them, you saw them rallying their team. And, Andre Saucheret got beat right there, but the defense just had no answers for this BYU offense. And even on the ground game, this is a Cougars team that didn't rush the ball really good all season. But here they were. They put up a total of 272 yards. So it's been a struggling San Jose State football team to watch. And the BYU was just a better team all around.
Yeah, definitely. And then, when we talk about SJSU's offense, the turnover margin was not in the favor for them. They had 4 of their 5 turnovers were in the first half. They had 2 interceptions on the game, 6 fumbles, 3 of them of which they recovered. But if you fumble 6 times in a Mountain West Conference game, you cannot expect to come out victorious.
So yeah, we talked a lot about the facts and the negatives, but let's go in a little bit more about the bright spots and good takeaways from the Spartans.
Yeah, so the youth, that's where a lot of the offense and part of the defense has come from is from the youth. Between Montel and Tyler Nevins, those are guys that have really led the charge as far as what to look for day in and day out. And they've gotten Trey Walker involved as well in the pass game. Montel was able to find 11 different receivers, though he struggled majority of the game. There's still some bright spots, and I don't think it's more about trying to fix those problems now. Yeah, you're going to have to learn from them, but this is a team that should start preparing more for the future, and they should really start putting this season to rest because just like Hall did right here against the San Jose State defense, he took it to the house, and that's what teams have been doing all season.
Yeah, definitely. You look at some of these young guys. Tyler Nevins, which we've been talking about, had his first 100-yard game of his career on 26 carries, which is a pretty heavy workload, and I would expect to see the same moving forward. And then Aaron just 2 yards shy of 200 total yards offense to go along with his 2 touchdowns. He did have some turnovers, but these 2 young guys, you could expect for them to carry some more of this workload moving forward.
All right, so I have to ask, what are some takeaways from Rasheed Johnson's early first quarter hit, and how do you feel about the officials choosing to not elect it as an illegal hit?
Well, we'll see it here shortly. I personally think it was a clean hit, and it's funny because Rasheed Johnson, the morning after the hit, had tweeted about how he's blessed, but they're going to get right, and he mentioned how he is blessed he could wake up and walk today because after taking this hit here, it was a hard hit, but it was a clean hit in my opinion as well because you saw less of the helmet hit and more of the higher shoulder, lower neck.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more with Mohamed. I know a lot of Spartan faithful aren't going to agree with us on this, but I think it's a clean football hit.
Yeah, and even special teams is making a couple of mistakes as you see another fumble there on the punt. But there's been so many issues from special teams to offense, defense, and I'm not sure how they're going to solve these issues that they have here.
Yeah, and so how do you both feel about San Jose State's chances going up against San Diego State this upcoming week?
Well, unfortunately for the Spartans, the road's not going to get any easier. San Diego State has they're 7-2 team. Only 3 schools in the nation have more wins than them, and that's Alabama, Georgia, and Wisconsin. They have Rashad Penny, who's leading the nation in all-purpose yards, coming off a 253-yard game against Hawaii with 2 touchdowns. He has 7 100-yard games this season. I can't talk enough about this guy. He's one of 18 semifinalists for the Maxwell Award, and expect San Diego State to come out and run a Stanford-type offense with 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, and SJSU is going to need to pack the box. Frank Ginda's going to have his hands full and expect them to have a lot more tackle opportunity.
Once again, this is Andrew Talamantes with the Spear. You can catch the Spartans this Saturday on ESPNU as they host San Diego State, who is 4-0 on the road, at SJSU Stadium at 7:30 p.m. for the Spartans' first night game of the season.
Spartan football lost their 7th game in a row. Insider Ernie Gonzalez has a recap and Coach Brennan's reaction.
Good afternoon, Ernie Gonzalez here with the Spear, San Jose State football beat writer. Hard to believe already week 11 entering the final month of the season for the Spartans. Of course, fall to 1-8 over the weekend after a tough loss at BYU. Why? Well, the trademark of the team so far, turnovers.
Well, I think the biggest thing that we got to understand is how important the football is, right? When we're carrying the football, when we're throwing the football, you're holding the hopes and dreams of everybody in the building, everybody on campus, and everybody in San Jose.
Brennan said Monday, although it's been a very, very tough season taking care of the Rock, he's looking at the bigger picture, saying, hey, we're all in this together. Here he is on his quarterback and running back.
Well, I think it's important that these kids know that I'm with them and that I got their back. And, there's people are going to make mistakes, players make mistakes, coaches make mistakes. And, I think it's important that they know that we're all in this together. Tyler and Montel are two kids that take it so serious. It's so important to them. So when they have a critical mistake like that, they're upset. And so those times when you will never see me, get after a kid after something like that, ever. Because I'm just trying to get him to breathe or stop crying, or just because they're so emotionally into it. They want the best for this team.
Shifting to defense now, very troubling stat. The Spartans have gone 4 straight games, 1 month, without collecting a sack. The last time that happened, well, I can't tell you why, because the archives page ran out. It's been at least since 2000, though. Injuries for this D-line right now. Here's Brennan on the creativity, if you want to use that word, on his D-line.
Those kids are learning, and I think it's hard. When you look out there, there was a time in the game yesterday where in our front 7, only Frank and Ethan were not either a converted offensive lineman or a true freshman linebacker. And so as those guys continue to learn, they'll get better. But it's always a challenge. Injury is part of the game, dealing with that, working through that.
The Spartans will host California rival San Diego State this coming Saturday, November 4th. Brennan knows it's going to be a very tough test.
Of being physical in practice this week, we're going to have to bang a little bit, so we make sure we get used to the things that I've mentioned, the big bodies, the big, heavy kind of NFL-style run game. And then also an extremely talented running back.
SJSU volleyball faced off against Fresno State, hoping to push their win streak to 4. Taylor Lupetti has the story.
It's been 3 home games and 3 consecutive wins for the San Jose State Spartans, who took on the Fresno State Bulldogs on Thursday. The matchup marked the first full game that the Spartans have played without junior outside hitter Julia Gavio. Losing one of their star players forced the team to readjust their lineups. While the changes were new to the players, it did not seem to faze SJSU through the match. With the loss of Gavio, sophomore outside hitter Fernanda Vito, who is coming back into her 2nd week after a 3-week injury, has been leading the team in kills since returning to the court. Gavio's loss has made Vito step up and show everyone that her injury has not been a problem. The game marked the Spartans' 15th win of the season, which is the highest that the team has seen since 2012. SJSU is currently in 3rd place in the Mountain West Conference, and with the win, they're hoping to stay consistent in the top 3 until the end of this season. The Spartans are heading to New Mexico and Las Vegas next week, where they hope to keep their place in the top 3 of the Mountain West Conference. The Spartans will return home on November 9th to take on Wyoming.
It's almost some time for some hoops. Gabriel Luis talked to the women's team to find out what's in store for the upcoming season.
Going into my freshman year, realizing that we have such a big freshman class and we're one of the youngest in the nation, I'm kind of just looking to get my feet wet, make some noise, hopefully put San Jose on the map a little bit and just build.
It's been pretty good. We started off having a lot of energy. We have 7 freshmen and everyone brings energy and effort into the gym, so everyone's just really excited.
The most challenging things for the team this season is probably going to be how young we are.
To learn how to play together and to learn everyone's role, kind of, because we're so young not very experienced. I mean, we only have one starter from last year, and I think just learning how to play together and putting that onto the court, that's going to be probably the most difficult thing. To kind of lead the freshmen, or just to like set a good example. I mean, with having so many upperclassmen, it's just important to have people in the gym that talk, that they can look up to. And I think if I talk in the gym, if I communicate in the gym, I'll set a good example for them.
Like I said, hopefully I can get my feet wet. I would like to, contribute to the team the best way I can, whether that's more of a facilitator, scorer, just coming off the bench and kind of letting up a spark. I'm just excited to participate and hopefully help the team win.
Gabriel Louise caught up with the men's soccer team to find out about their pregame routine.
Game ritual, I basically starts off the night before, hydrate, get 10 to 11 and a half hours sleep, wake up, get a good breakfast, and then after that, get my pregame snacks, go to the locker room, put my music on, stretch, foam roll. And then, that's when I wake up with coach.
On game day, I wake up, have a good breakfast, nice and light. Usually, like when we arrive here, I watch some videos about my favorite keeper, usually Casillas or Maurice. I watch that for like 20 minutes. I just get some techniques going on, just prepare myself before the game. I also listen to my favorite music, like usually sets by Queso or just like some EDM sets, and have a good stretch for the game and just be ready.
If I'm going to wear my shoes, it's going to be from the left foot. And same as shin guards and socks, I wear it from my left foot, or the left side. And I think that's about it.
Before every match, I try to get a lot of rest the night before and wake up just whenever I get up, and I go and I get a bagel, House of Bagels. And then I get to the locker room as soon as I can, relax, hang out with the boys, and just head to the locker room an hour before kickoff. And right before the game, eat a banana, drink a lot of water, just get ready to win a game.
My pregame ritual, I try and get a good night rest before the game day. Wake up in the morning, I try to read a scripture from the Bible. I call my mom to make sure everything's okay and to let her know it's game day. I'll eat something light, not something too big or heavy. Get to the locker rooms, get into my gear, put on earphones, listen to my music, and hope for the best.
Mohammed Bafaki heads to the stands to find out how Spartan sports are so supportive of each other.
Teams for Teams, which is where they go and support other student athletes at their competitions. And we really like that because it makes them appreciate other fans there, and we're trying to get more of the campus to come to our games.
Having the whole team here, supporting them, we bring a lot of energy for them, and you can tell at times they really feed off of it, so it's amazing.
Last year they came into our practices a lot, and they would like cheer us on and when we were preparing for nationals. And so these are just a great group of girls, and we really get excited to like see them play and play well, and anything that we can do to help them and get the morale boosting or the other team psyched out is what we want to do.
Having all those voices and everything behind you, you know, especially for those big points, that roar that you get, that definitely helps momentum.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome, like, to see all others, like, sports, like, supporting our team. So I think it's really cool, like, everyone's sticking together, being like a big family.
Next up, another episode of Rapid Fire Questions with Spartan Athletes, featuring 2 members of the track and field team. Caleb Boardman has more.
Nah.
No.
Nah. Teleporting.
I think I'll want to.
She said why? So I can go home, which is Texas. Like teleport to Texas, come back for practice, you know?
I think I'll want to be able to stop time. Have you ever seen that show Heroes? Yeah, I think that's real cool. Like you could just stop, go do something, or like maybe you're running late, go somewhere, and then press play again. I just listen to music.
Same. Just be by myself, listen to music. Long jump.
I guess Hawaii, when I went, that was fun. The weather's nice and the beaches are warm.
I liked New York.
It's too cold.
Minus the cold, yeah. If it wasn't cold, that's where I'd like. Not really. It's just like my before meet ritual. I feel like if I don't do it, then I'm not gonna be on.
I feel like everything has to be even. Like, if I step on a line with my right foot 6 times, then I have to do it with my left. Like, even if I pass the line, I like run back and I'm like.
I'd say Carmelo Anthony. It's kind of problematic, but I guess.
I guess, Ivana Spanovic. I think that's how you say her name. She's from another country.
Me.
Let me think.
No, Natalie. I think Natalie's really funny.
She's funny, but I think Nicole's the funniest. She's pretty funny to me.
That's all we have for today's show. Don't forget to follow us on social media, The Spirit, SJSU, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.